bringing him into the second round. Both guys.
Quick, Lewis. What did I just say in the break?
I want to draw it out.
You are terrified of Anthony Johnson. Just give your goddamn pick.
Anthony Johnson, head kick knockout, round 2.
Okay.
Like
Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, 2 official picks. I'm saying Nate Diaz via submission round 3. What about you, Bisping?
Lewis, you go first, quick.
All right, I'm going to say Nate Diaz, round 2, once again, via submission, late in the round. Exact same fucking fight as the first time.
Bisping.
You know what? I think McGregor does it. That little shit's gonna put
What round?
Listen, I've gone back and forth the whole time, and what got McGregor this far and made him so successful, he is pretty special, and I think he's going to pull it off. Maybe undersized and all this stuff, but I say Conor McGregor gets it done. Guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. My apologies. No, I think he's going to win by decision. Ooh. See you next week for the countdown. I will be on time. Guys, peace out. Adios. Enjoy the fights. And I, for one, am very, very intrigued as to how this fight's going to go down. On the feet, McGregor is the better fighter. And if he fights the right fight, if he fights smart, if he's elusive, if he gets on his back, he employs footwork and he kind of dances around and, you know, heaven forbid I use this term, but, you know, kind of point fights him. He could outpoint him to a decision. He really could. I just think he's too slick on the feet. But the thing is, Conor won't do that. Conor will not do that. And especially, as our caller just said, and I was only kidding, by the way, if you took offense, you know, Diaz has kind of got into his head. So no way is Conor going to do that. So Conor only knows how to fight one way. That's to go forward and look for the knockout. Now, he said, you know, after that last fight, he was inefficient with his energy. So he's going to bring a different tactic this time. He's not going to look for the knockout. But with all of these shenanigans, with Conor getting so mad yesterday, with Conor probably looking at a fine from the commission costing him 10% of his purse, he's going to want to put a beating on Nate Diaz. He wants to stomp out all this talk of Nate Diaz. He wants to eradicate all this talk of Conor's star fading. I mean, Nate Diaz could possibly be the worst thing to ever happen to Conor McGregor. He really could. So he's going to want to go out there and destroy this guy. So therefore, that's going to remove him from fighting the fight correctly. He's not going to stick to that game plan. I don't think so.
Well, you know, I mean, one of the callers earlier on had mentioned that. We never really got to answer his question, but he had mentioned the Carlos Condit game plan against Nick Diaz, which was to, you know, really fight smart and counter-strike him and to use kicks in a really smart way, use distance, use foot movement. And I think we saw the same thing happen when Josh Thompson was able to knock out Nate Diaz. It was him fighting a very smart point fight and then setting Nate up, and he was going with a lot of low kicks and then eventually went high and caught him.
But let me tell you why Conor can't necessarily do that is because Conor's the shorter guy. See, if you're the shorter guy and you're fighting, you know, I mean, Nate's much, much taller than Conor and he's got a longer reach as well. Even though the reach advantage for Nate isn't that much bigger, I think it's only like 2 inches, but still, Conor's the shorter guy and Nate's much taller. For Conor to get in there, what he has to do, because the thing is, think about it. Diaz can hit Conor where Conor can't hit him. So Conor has to go forward. He can't necessarily be the counter fighter. He can't be. The taller guy will just pick him off from the outside. So Conor has to be the aggressor. He has to slip the shots on the way in and land the strikes first. You know, the shorter guy, and maybe some boxing specialists will disagree with me right now, but generally the shorter guy can't really rely on being the counter striker. So I just think stylistically and the physicalities kind of force Conor to not go with that kind of game plan.
All right, let's go to Rocco in Boston. You are on the countdown with the count.
What's going on, Bisping, my British brother? What's going on?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I love the way that you knocked Luke Rockhold out and then you threw it in his face in the presser right after. That was amazing. I loved it.
Absolutely. He deserved it 100%. What's on your mind?
Scumbag. But anyways, I think that it could be, you know, kind of the situation that you and Luke had, you know, like he got you the first time and then, you know, then he like got on his little high horse, thought he had like this new little swagger going and all that stuff. He was counting you out. I see that in Nate Diaz a little bit. I see that he's been walking around with this new swag, like, you know, he's coming out of his shell a little bit more. And, you know, I think it could be like, that could work in Conor's favor. Diaz seems like he might be getting a little complacent. You never know, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you do bring an interesting point and something that I was going to bring up before. I mean, listen, let's be honest. Conor is an incredibly talented individual. He hasn't reached the success that he's reached without being talented, without being a hard worker, and without being gifted. That is a fact. Now, Nate Diaz coming in on that last fight on 10 days' notice was kind of like me coming in against Rockhold. I had nothing to lose, and it's very mentally freeing. I talked about this endlessly on this show. It's very mentally freeing. You go in there, you've got nothing to lose. Just go out there. Fuck it, I'm a fighter. I'll go out there, I'll swing, and hope for the best. And that's what Diaz went in and did. He did it. He won. He choked him out. This time, it's different. He's had the full training camp. Yes, his conditioning will be better. The preparation will be better. He'll have brought in more sparring partners to mimic them and things like that. But the mindset could be different, because now a star has been born in Nate Diaz. We're seeing him all over the place on mainstream media, the Conan show and things like that. He wants to keep this going, so the pressure possibly may affect his performance.
You are on the countdown with the count. What's going on, Andy?
Andy.
Hey, not much, guys. Hey, the mental warfare in this Diaz-McGregor fight, the mental game to me has been amazing, and I really think Nate's gotten under his skin. The other thing, too, Michael, this devolved really quickly. I don't know if it's just, I don't want to say caliber of guys, but the way you take the mental aspect of the game, I mean, it doesn't, I don't know, I just don't see, outside of Rockhold, I really haven't seen the guys that you fought almost seem to be more up to the task with the mental game more than Diaz and McGregor have. Just thoughts on both of those, and thanks for taking my call, guys. And Marissa needs a raise.
Yay,
I'm sure she'll be happy about that. The mental aspect of it is huge. I mean, I've talked about this. Of course, it's a very physical sport, but mentally, that controls everything. It controls what you decide to throw, when you throw it, whether or not you throw the punch or the kick or the takedown with conviction, whether or not you commit to it. If there's doubt inside your head, you don't commit to things like you should do. Here's a big factor, what we've got to remember. Fighters like Conor McGregor and Anderson Silva in his prime, they trade on this confidence, and that is their biggest weapon. We've got Conor now going into this fight, and he's fighting a guy that just choked him out. A guy that's bigger, a guy that could take his best shots, and a guy, as I said, that ultimately choked him out. I don't care who you are. That has to affect your confidence a little bit. And we haven't seen Conor, what he's like, coming back with that kind of adversity. So, I mean, I respect Conor, what he's doing. He's getting right back in there. But we see in his gym, on the wall, he has pictures of him, landing on Diaz and things like that. That's all to G him up, to give him confidence, to say to himself, look, here's what I was doing earlier in that fight. I've just got to do more of that. But as Diaz said, that does at the same time show a little bit of mental weakness. And of course, if Conor was listening to this right now, he'd tell me to shut the hell up and that I don't know what I'm talking about. But listen, I know I've been in this game longer than most, and doubt creeps in, and especially Saturday night when he's there and he's in the locker room and the fighters are going through and there's people getting stitched up outside and you can hear the roar of the crowd, and you start thinking about what happened last time and how you felt and all this type of thing. The doubt will creep in, believe you me, and it will affect his performance. So I mean if you look at the press conference, I think he did get under his skin. Diaz is playing it cool, but what else is McGregor going to do in this situation? There's not a lot he can say. He's going to go out there and he's going to beat him. It's as simple as that. So, as I said before, Conor's gifted. He's very, very good. We might see the best Conor McGregor that we've ever seen, because it's almost, it's almost at the top of the peak, at the top of the mountain, and it's a tipping point. It could go one way, it could go the other way. You know what I mean? And Conor, sure as hell, doesn't want everything to start slipping away. Now he's dominated the game. He's took over. He doesn't want it to all start, crumbling away because of Nate goddamn Diaz. So he might go out there and absolutely beat the living piss out of this guy. That is a possibility.
All right, let's go to one more call before we go to break. We're going to go to Sean in Indianapolis, Indiana. You're on the countdown with the count.
What's up, Michael Bisping?
What's up, buddy?
So I just want to know, I see this being the fight of the year. What do you think?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it could be. I mean, the first fight was incredible, and there's no doubt about that. But, fight of the year could be, should be. Who knows? Maybe it'll suck. I doubt it. I think it's going to be an incredible fight. Diaz always brings it. Conor's always, time and time again, one of the most exciting fighters in the game. Love him or hate him, you can't deny the fact that he brings excitement. So, it's all there. There's a lot of pride on the line as well. Nate Diaz has made a lot of money. He's become a star. Conor's killing it. Both of these guys. But, at the end of the day, it's pride. Pride is what is at stake here. And when you're a fighter in our position, you want that pride. So I heard RJ Clifford on the Fight Club earlier talking about that maybe Diaz might throw the fight because he wants to get that third fight, because he wants to get that